What would you do if God asked you to give up the very thing you waited your whole life for? Not something material or temporary, but the miracle. A promise, the child who brought joy back into your soul. Would you still trust him, even when the request made no sense at all? Welcome back to Dramatized Bible, where scripture comes alive through immersive visual storytelling. If this is your first time here, my name is Matthias, and I'm so grateful you're watching. Let's walk together through one of the most intense moments of trust ever recorded. Genesis 22 opens with a startling line. Now, it came to pass after these things that God tested Abraham. The voice of God broke through the stillness.
Abraham.
And Abraham answered simply,
"Here I am."
Then came the command that would shake the foundations of any parent's heart.
"Take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you."
There was no debate, no pleading, no delay. The very next morning, Abraham rose early. He split the wood for the offering, saddled his donkey, and took 2 servants with him, and Isaac, the son of promise. For 3 long days they journeyed. They crossed barren valleys and winding hills, each step echoing the weight of what lay ahead. At one point, Isaac laughed and pointed to the sky as a hawk circled overhead, riding the wind with ease. Abraham managed a faint smile, but it quickly faded. The storm inside him was far heavier than the silence they walked through. At night, they camped beneath a sky of endless stars. A small fire flickered beside them, casting shadows on Abraham's weary face. He lay awake long after the others had fallen asleep. Isaac curled peacefully under a shawl, unaware of what tomorrow would demand. Abraham whispered prayers into the dark, not for answers, but for strength. And then, on the 3rd day, Abraham saw it, the mountain, the place of surrender. He turned to the young men and said,
"Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there to worship, and we will come back to you."
Those words, "we will come back," were not just hopeful, they were prophetic. Somehow, Abraham believed that obedience and God's promise were not at odds, even now. He placed the wood on Isaac's back, and together they climbed the mountain. Isaac, curious, broke the silence.
"My father."
Abraham responded gently.
"Here I am, my son."
Isaac asked,
"Look, the fire and the wood. But where is the lamb for the burnt offering?"
Abraham didn't flinch. He simply replied,
"My son, God will provide for himself the lamb."
and the 2 of them continued, one carrying the fire, the other the wood, both carrying trust. When they reached the top, Abraham built the altar, stone by stone, slowly, intentionally. He arranged the wood, then turned to Isaac. The scriptures don't describe a struggle, no resistance, no fight. Somehow, Isaac submitted. Abraham bound him, the son he loved, and laid him on the altar. His hands moved with reverence, his heart with agony, and then he raised the knife. At that very moment, just as the blade hovered over the future, the angel of the Lord called out,
Abraham. Abraham.
and Abraham answered once more.
"Here I am."
The voice continued,
"Do not lay your hand on the boy, for now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me."
Abraham looked up and saw it, a ram caught in the thicket by its horns. God had provided, not a way out, but a substitute. Abraham offered the ram instead of Isaac, and he named the place Jehovah Jireh, martyr, the Lord will provide. That mountain wasn't just the site of a test. It became the birthplace of a promise. God spoke again.
"Because you have done this, and not withheld your son, I will bless you. I will multiply your descendants like the stars in the sky and the sand on the shore, and in your seed all nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you obeyed my voice."
Abraham and Isaac walked back down the mountain, not just father and son, but worshipers marked by obedience and mercy. And that place, Moriah, would one day become Jerusalem, the very region where another son, God's own son, would climb a hill, carry wood on his back, and willingly lay down his life. This time, there would be no ram in the thicket, because Jesus was the lamb, and the Father would not hold him back. Abraham's story is one of radical trust, the kind that holds nothing back. He didn't know the outcome, but he knew the one who called him, and that was enough. Faith like this isn't blind. It sees through the fog, all the way to God's faithfulness. Sometimes, God asks us to lay down what we love most, not to punish us, but to reveal that He is enough, and that what He gives back is always greater than what we surrender. Many scholars believe Mount Moriah is the same region where Solomon would later build the temple, and very near the hill of Golgotha, where Jesus would be crucified. Abraham's act of obedience on that mountain foreshadowed the cross, where God did not spare His own Son, but gave Him up for us all. Is there something God is asking you to surrender? Something you've been holding on to? Faith is rarely easy, but it's always worth it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read them all. If today's story spoke to you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more cinematic Bible stories just like this. And if you're looking for worship music to lift your spirit throughout the week, check out my other channel, Eternal Grace Music, for original Christian songs that point your heart back to Jesus. Thanks again for being here. This is Matthias, and I'll see you in the next one.